Hi, I'm Nanette Bulabash. Welcome to another episode of Legislative Updates. I am delighted to have three incredibly inspiring guests today talking about a very important issue that I don't think a lot of people know about it. Our guests today are all associated with the Sheboygan County Food Bank. And I had heard the name. I've gone to Making Spirits Bright, that wonderful Christmas event that raises funds for them. But I didn't really fully understand the work they're doing and the difference it's making in this community and how much it means to the people who work here and also the volunteers and the recipients until I attended a Sheboygan Area Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting for your new refrigerator, I think. So that really got me started, and I knew I wanted to do a program on this. So today I'm delighted to have Liz Kroll, the director of the Sheboygan County Food Bank. We also have Jody Zakowski, who is in charge of logistics and warehouse and sort of makes things going, and she gave me this incredible tour of the new refrigerator. And we also have Anjanette Pond, who has been very active with this program, who works on the Hunger Ball and also helps make sure that now we are getting food into the more hands of children. Yes. Because what stunned me about this ribbon cutting was learning that right here in Sheboygan County, there are something like 11,000 people who go hungry on a regular basis.
Right.
I don't think people know that. And you are trying to address it in a very inspiring, active way, and I'm very impressed with that. So I think more people need to know about that. But first, let's talk about hunger in Sheboygan County, because I had no idea. I have a feeling people think it's, well, there's a lot of reasons. But what Jody told me during our tour was that a lot of these people are working. And it's not like you're just, I don't know. Sure, there are health issues. There are probably drug addiction issues and neglect and all those kind of things and family breakups and who knows what. But there's also people trying to make a living and struggling with that too. So, Liz, you've been the director. You've been associated for a long time. The food bank has been in existence for a long time. What have you learned from your time as director now, 3 years, about hunger? What do you want people, what should people know about it?
Well, that it exists in our community. I mean, that was one thing that I didn't want to realize. I go to other, cities or states, and the homeless or the hungry are out on the curbs asking for money. We don't have that here in Sheboygan County, so it's kind of like a hidden thing. When I worked out in Kohler for many years, and I didn't realize that we had hunger in our little city. So that's the main thing I want people to understand. And yes, they are a lot of the working poor. They are a lot of the elderly that have to pay for pharmaceutical supplies and whatever, so they have to make ends meet. Absolutely, we have mental health issues in our community that this is the only interaction sometimes they get with people, and this is on kind of their list of things to do every Tuesday. They have to go to this food pantry, and I think that's important to realize. I didn't realize all that when I became associated with the food bank.
Okay, all right. And so we'll get into that later. What was I going to ask Jody? You gave me this fabulous tour, and I know you corrected me because a lot of people think that the food bank is where you go and pick up food, but that's not true, right?
You're right. That is not true. The Sheboygan County Food Bank is the warehouse that houses all the food that ends up at the food pantries or different other places in the city. People go to the food pantries to get the food. So we just supply all the pantries with as much food as we possibly can. So,
and there are 15 pantries in the county or the city?
Sheboygan County.
Okay.
Yep, we work with 15 different food pantries, correct.
So if someone is watching us right now and knows they could use some help, or they know someone who can use some help with getting enough food for their family, they can go to your website and find out where these pantries are and find the closest one to them, correct?
Yep, it's right on our website.
Super.
A list of all the days they're open, their addresses, and any information they might need.
Okay.
And may I say, when we first started the food bank, we understood that there's plenty of food pantries. There's plenty of places for people to eat. And guess what? There's plenty of food in Sheboygan County. But the distribution part of it was lacking. Like, how does a 77-year-old volunteer go and receive these goods? so that's why I thought it was important to get some type of, warehouse and delivery system that we can accommodate that distribution and make that all happen. And so our donors know where to bring the food too, because there wasn't any place that you could just drop off in the middle of the day and or have a trucker call and say, hey, we want to drop something off, and now we're available to do that.
And we're showing the pictures while we talk, I hope. I was very impressed to take a tour of your operation, and you've got it very well organized with boxes of food and dry goods versus canned goods and things like that. So quickly, what's the greatest need? I remember you said you could use more peanut butter on one time.
That is definitely one of the top ones, definitely peanut butter. We're always looking for breakfast items, cereal, oatmeal, pancake mix, things like that. Canned fruit is another big one,
Okay.
And protein.
Okay.
Canned tuna, canned chicken, things like that. Those are our top 4 that we're always looking for.
So just to be clear, you cannot pick up food there, but you can drop off food there.
Right. Anytime,
And you do
yep.
have regular hours on
Correct.
21st Street.
Right.
Right, not far from the shelter, the animal
Right.
shelter.
Yes.
On the
Correct.
north side.
Yep.
And I'm so delighted that Anjanette Pond could join us, because at that blue ribbon, the ribbon cutting, not blue ribbon, you gave a very emotional speech.
Yes.
I could see the reaction from the crowd, and I could see you talking about your involvement in hunger. So why don't you just tell us about that?
Well, Liz and I met several years ago. I can't even remember why, but we've kind of formed a real great friendship and partnership, and the food bank has been a real important place for my family. My husband and I have always strived to teach our children what it looks like to look outside themselves, and the food bank has been a wonderful place for us to bring all of our children and have them find a meaningful task to do, some sort of service. And so in that process of our children digging in bins and looking for specific items, they found meaning in that and have formed relationships and are excited whenever we have a day off school to go to the food bank, which is really special as a parent. But we've also, Liz and I formed a friendship that we work together to try to figure out how to improve the things that we do in our community. So we've formed our Food for Thought program, where we're now serving 176 children in the district and hopes to grow that. The Hunger Ball has, for a couple of years now, donated a pretty sizable donation to the food bank. Last year we helped pay for the freezer, which is why I was speaking at the ribbon cutting. But I think one reason why I have such a passion here is just accomplishing what we're trying to do for our friends in our community through compassion and dignity and respect. And
Is
I
that
think
why this is so moving?
that
for you,
is, that
even to
is
talk about it now?
because I love my town, and finding a way to give back to this wonderful community is a really big deal for us.
Oh my goodness, yeah, this is.
Sorry.
No, you're awesome. And their whole family, she's not just saying this, her whole family comes. They come without mom sometimes, and they just dig right into, doing what they need to do to help us. And that's really important. We need families to do that. And the other thing is we just nominated them for the United Way Volunteer
wonderful.
Family. They're one of the nominees. But just because we see that, and we have a little joke when I see her family on other websites helping them. I'm like, what? That's our family. But they help throughout the community. They do a lot for us, but they help in so many ways throughout the community. So I just want to make sure that we understand that we all needed help. Right? It takes a village, and their families doing their part to become part of that village and make it better. So.
And increasing awareness about the hunger. I mean, it was important for my family to help me fill backpacks as we began to try to make a difference. But I think finding awareness in our community that this is a problem and that there's something we can do about it, I think I'm always the woman of action, like, okay, now what? What now? What are we doing about it? So.
Okay, I want to talk about children and food for thought, but first let's go to the Hunger Ball, which I guess it is what it sounds like. It's a dance, an annual dance.
Dinner
held-
and dance.
When is it held?
This year it's November 1st. It's a Friday, and it's at the, let's see, what is it called?
Black Pig.
Right, upstairs, the Berkshire.
Berkshire.
Oh, okay, it's a beautiful place.
Wonderful, and Rob Hury donates it for us. He's an advocate of hunger.
Yeah.
In Sheboygan, and so we get together and we have a lovely evening. We have a couple of the food pantry directors come and speak and tell us where we send checks to a couple of every year, as well as the food bank, and it's just a lovely night where we celebrate the fact that we're doing something, and celebrate community, each other, and an opportunity to make a difference.
And it
So-
is raising money also for
100% of the
program.
donations go toward hunger in Sheboygan.
And what
So-
I think is so neat too is they don't have a lot of silent, they don't do any silent
No.
auctions or auction. They're just there to have a nice evening, and then you
Respectful.
put into put into the plate what you want to, contribute, and it just is a very successful event, and it doesn't take a lot. I'm sure it takes a lot for them to pull it off, but
Right.
it's really done well.
You keep it
Just a
simple.
classy
to
night.
be more effective. I see.
And we found a great band, and it's really fun. It's really fun. And last year, we kind of extended our invitee list to include high schoolers, because we're trying to mentor the next generation into how can you make a difference, and trying to kind of shepherd them into this role. So that's really fun, and they dance. So we gotta get them.
That's excellent, because the young people I've met are very keyed into wanting to help the community, the ones I've met. It's pretty impressive, and wanting to make a better world. And the more we can do to encourage that, the better.
Right.
And that's one of the wonderful things about our Food for Thought program is, Liz and I have been trying to figure out how to make this work, like the logistics of it. So volunteers come in and finish filling these Ziploc bags full of food, and then we have to distribute them to the schools. And so my idea, because I have my kids go to North High School, and we're hopefully going to spread this, is that a service club at Sheboygan North High School then distributes these to hopefully an elementary school they have a connection with.
I see.
So then they're paying back in this beautiful circle.
So Food for Thought is a backpack program. You showed me the backpack when I took the tour. I was pretty impressed, and we have a picture of that we're showing during this program too. It's got some healthy foods in there, some fruit. It's just a backpack that I believe 176 children each week during the school year are getting one of these through
Every Friday.
through the service, through the North High Service Club, distributed to at least citywide schools right now. That there is that much need, because otherwise these kids, for whatever reason,
On the weekend,
wouldn't get
right.
enough food. And any teacher can tell you they can identify the kids who can't pay attention during class because they're hungry.
Right.
And it just, we've
That's
all
why we
seen
called it Food for Thought, because really we're trying to fuel an education and a healthy.
And let's talk more about that. Why is it so important to be fed before you can learn? You've heard that from teachers, or you've learned it from experience, or?
Yeah, well, I've heard it from teachers often. Like, we just can't get them started, especially on a Monday morning when some of these kids haven't eaten. It's slow going. Everything is a little slower paced. And what we would like to see is, it's called breakfast after the bell also, because a lot of the schools in Sheboygan, or some of the schools in Sheboygan, are able to give free and reduced breakfast or free breakfast, and that's really important. But it needs to be after the bell in the classroom, and that's not always the case. But they're striving. They're trying to make
It's really close.
Yeah, it's
like
really close.
pick it up
but-
on your way to class.
Right, and that's great, because then they're all starting off at the same
Exactly.
level. They're all attentive and ready to go. So that's really important to us at the food bank, just to make sure that the children are fed. Parents sometimes in this community, that's not their priority, and it's a shame. I mean, 10 years ago, I don't think I would have said that, but so we need to help them. We do put a food bank calendar of all the food pantries in the bag, so they can share that with their parents, and their parents are more than welcome to come to the food pantries. But these bags are made up for the children, and I always
fit
say,
in the backpack.
Yep, they fit in their backpack. I said, if you are afraid that somebody else will take the bag in your family, you keep it under your bed, and you just eat it when you need to. So
And they bring the backpack back to school?
no, it's
or-
their backpack. We
Okay.
just are putting a Ziploc.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I
Yes.
did. I
Yeah.
saw a picture of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that. I mean, And right now, it is just going to about not quite 200 kids in city Sheboygan area schools. But your
And
hope is to
a school in
expand it.
Plymouth, right?
Yeah.
And a school in Howard's Grove.
Howard's Grove and Cleveland.
In Cleveland. So
Yep.
we're trying to grow the program effectively to the whole county.
Right.
So that's kind of in the works right now.
I'm so impressed with that because it just breaks my heart to think of a child going to school without enough food. When I taught in Manitowoc at Wilson Junior High, I saw the same thing. And you guys are doing something concrete to bring food right into a kid's hands. What about the summer? I've heard kids, I've heard teachers say that there are actually kids who say they don't want summer to come because then they have structure during the school year. There are adults who are at
And
least
food.
checking in on them.
Right.
During
Well,
the summer, it's different.
the good news is the Sheboygan Area School District does have the summer meal program, and that is for breakfast and lunch. Anybody under 18 years of age, you don't have to be in the school district, you don't have to go to summer school. You can go to
A couple of locations.
a couple of locations, and we'll put
That's
those on
right.
our website also, and they can get free breakfast and lunch, no questions asked. You just sit down and eat. So that is exciting, and we have a new director in the Sheboygan Area School District that's heading that up, and I think she's going to, we've talked about all different things because we want to help them with this. Because at our food pantries that we go to visit all the time, we're able to say, hey, did you know that there's free meals? Oh, and some of the people didn't read the slip, that was sent home with the child, or, so we are able to one-on-one tell them about it. And they're like, oh, we didn't know. We thought that was just for summer school. And it's not.
No,
So
it's for anybody.
Right.
Anybody can go
Right.
into their local school and
Right.
find out.
And I would love at some point to even provide that as a mobile.
Oh, wouldn't that be
Wouldn't that be
something?
cool
Like
if you
a
stopped
vendor-
at a
like Vendor
park?
Mondays.
Yeah,
Yes.
you stop at a
Right.
park and you're able just to hand out some food to some
that would
kids.
be awesome.
That would be my dream for this program. But
And you hope to spread it throughout the county, I
Right.
understand. And there's possibilities that something like that might happen soon,
Right.
which would be terrific.
yes,
That would be terrific.
It would be great if we didn't need it, but in the real world, we do need it, and we just need to understand that. We're not trying to have people dependent on us. Actually, the opposite. We want to move people from dependence to independence.
Okay.
But we have to get them fed, and we have to get their minds working. I mean, we help people in emergency situations all the time. You had a fire, you come and don't pay for your food. We'll help you with food. You go do what you need to do, right? I mean, it's just those kind of the people that we serve all the time. And I think that we need to be really aware, like we're not trying to make everybody dependent on the food bank. We're trying to say, hey, we'll help you now so you can get the rest of your life together, and then hopefully you can return that favor later and not need our services,
And really, this backpack program where we make these Ziploc bags is that then finds a lot more homes where they can get the information about the food pantries.
Right.
So it's a great way to distribute that information as well to
And you
families
have a
that don't
Facebook
know.
page too, where you will make these kind of announcements. I think that's where you first entered my radar screen about a year ago when I saw you wrote something on Facebook about the summer program. And I always thought, wow, that's terrific. So Jody, you've worked for the food bank for how long?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
I'm the new one.
And you're the person that I could kind of tell sort of just keeps that whole warehouse going.
Absolutely.
You knew
Basically,
exactly
yes.
where the food was in the various refrigerators.
Correct,
And
yep.
where the platform things were and all that stuff. What have you learned from this job? Why do you work in this kind of a position?
First of all, I'm in it along with everybody else. We just are trying to make a difference and, work with everybody in Sheboygan County to make everybody, healthy and happy. And a hungry child is not, they can't do a whole lot. So we want to start with the children. We work with adults. We work with elderly folks too. So we just want to get the food out to the people who actually need it. And healthy food too. We're focusing towards healthier food, and trying to get the fresh fruits and vegetables and
Meats
different
and
healthy.
dairy and-
Yep. Every day we're getting more and more, and we're getting a variety, and it's very exciting that way. I also love working with the volunteers. I get to work with all the volunteers that come through, and
Like how many volunteers are involved with?
we have regular volunteers that come every week, probably 5 or 6, 5 days a week. We have groups that come in. We have families that come in. I mean, we work with
Scouts,
dozens a
school
month.
groups,
Yes.
church groups,
Yes.
corporate groups.
I've worked with kids as young as 3 years old, and I work and have simple projects for those kids, and I have, more complex projects like different things with our truck, working with our truck or our building or cleaning or moving things for us. But
There's
you know,
all kinds of opportunities.
there's always things to do from young to old.
So you can use more volunteers.
Sometimes, it depends on the week. Every week is a little different, depends on what we have in our warehouse or projects coming up. So anybody's welcome to contact me anytime, and we'll definitely work through it, for sure.
What is a neat thing about our volunteers is they first knew about us and then they volunteered. You know, like we had a person that was working next door, and when he said, when I retire, I want to come and volunteer for you. And that's just been the rhythm of it. You know, it's not like, oh, they just happen to need volunteer hours, so they come to us. But our main volunteers fell in love with the food bank and then decided to volunteer their time. So that's kind of a neat story. But you said something about Facebook before, and I just want to say Lauren Smith, who is our communications and development manager.
That's right, I know her.
And she is awesome. I used to do the Facebook page, and all of a sudden she was hired, and everyone said to me, "You're doing such a great job on the Facebook page." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Lauren. It's Lauren." And I'm just going to throw this out too. Patrick Boyle, who is our executive director.
I heard
and
him speak too.
yes, and he does a lot of the grants. He's been with us 2 years now, and he makes, I'll run and make those big decisions. So without us four, I think we're just a really good team together. So
Yeah, I could sense that
Small
one.
group that does big things.
yeah,
I didn't even ask how you were funded, but yeah, grants, donations. Yeah, I know we have a lot of generous corporations
Very
here.
generous.
Yes.
You put out a special shout out to Johnsonville, I believe, during
Johnsonville, yep, Sargento, Old Wisconsin, Sartori Cheese, those, Masters Gallery. We have a lot of meat and cheese places that can donate and keep our freezers and our fridges full all the time. And we are extremely grateful. Without those guys, we would have a hard time. So
Right.
we're very lucky and so appreciative.
And the biggest fundraisers, besides the Hunger Ball, Making Spirits Bright, the annual beautiful thing that we
Yes.
all drive through and donate food.
Yep.
And I think you just came out with an announcement that because of Making Spirits Bright, that they had a successful year, they could fund a second truck.
Yes, a refrigerated truck,
refrigerated.
yes.
And why
So
does that,
exciting.
how would that make a difference? Why is that important? Where do you use the truck
We have
for?
always, well, we have a truck already that we use for our deliveries and pickups, but it's not refrigerated. So this new truck is a
Oh, I
refrigerated
get it.
truck.
I get
So it just opens the doors to so many things where we can accept more donations now. Some places that already have food that is cold won't let us pick it up if we don't have a cold box truck. So we are really excited to use it, and we can get a lot more donations now.
Okay.
So,
And deliver them.
Yes.
and
And they-
deliver them.
And they
Absolutely.
provided, I mean, the first year, 40,000 pounds of food. That was my first year on board, and Making Spirits Bright first year. Well, this year, we're shooting for 100,000 pounds, which is what we went over that
More than
last year.
double.
Yeah, what we went over last year, but we're really excited. They are just such a great group of people also. And, how sometimes you think of, oh, Making Spirits Bright, they start that in October.
No, they're already starting
they
next
have-
year.
we have
They
started
already-
me- yeah.
As of January, they were
Yes,
like,
January, you're absolutely right. And these men, Jerry Plain is awesome, but the men, they are spending 80 hours per week over and they have full-time jobs. One owns two of them own a business. It's just amazing to see these dedicated people, so that's really a neat partnership that we have.
But without those food drives,
Yes.
I know I've heard some numbers from the food bank of how many pounds they distribute a month. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yep.
Tell them.
We distribute about 75,000 pounds a month.
A month.
So,
throughout the county.
yes, yes.
Wow. that
Yeah,
is
that's a lot when you think about, our month-long food drive was 100,000 pounds, So that used to last 4 months, but now it lasts a month or a month and a half. And then we have to go out there and either purchase food, which we do like to purchase our own food just because we can buy in bulk.
Right.
And we know what we're getting, and we can have food that's not expired. So those are, we love to, have a little cash. I said, you can give me a can of corn, and that's awesome, but you can give me $1 and I can buy 3 cans, right? So those kind of things are neat. But the community part of the food drive is what I love. It's like, Acuity saying, yes, we can do this, and having them have some competition between departments and stuff
right,
like that.
sure they do,
That's the fun part, and that's where they hear about us and learn about us, so.
What do you, we're running out of time. Is there any other misconceptions you'd like to clear up, or anything that you think surprises people that you wish they knew about you, or that?
Gosh, that's good.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I think just that hunger does exist.
Okay.
And when I first.
Even though our economy is supposedly
Yeah.
doing well,
Yeah.
People are still hungry.
people are
Right.
still hungry.
Right,
And probably they're still hungry because they are the ones that can't do anything about it.
yeah,
I see.
right.
That is
I
really
agree,
something.
yeah.
That just, well, you guys are an inspiration. You're an absolute inspiration. If people want to find out more, if they want to help, they can stop in at the food bank and ask for you or Jody. They can go on your website, find out more about the pantries, where to get food. They can always donate a check.
Right.
Anything else that they can do?
No, I think that's,
Bring your friends.
yeah, bring your friends.
friends.
Yeah, tell your
Get
friends.
involved.
Tell your
Bring
friends,
young
yes.
people, bring your children, so they can
Yes.
grow up seeing how important it is to be
Yes.
involved in your community.
Yes.
And awareness.
I was just
And
going to say
awareness.
awareness, yep.
Yep.
Keep talking about it. Well,
Definitely.
thank you.
Thank you for
I hope we
having
helped
us.
a little bit. Thank you, Liz and Jody and Anjanette. I am
Thank you.
truly inspired. Let's all help each other. That's why we're here, right? That's what makes Sheboygan great.
Yes.
So I'm very thrilled to have talked to you all. This is Nanette Bulabash. Stay involved. Thank you.